Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1577B, and today's date is May 25th, 2018, and the title of the episode is The Trap Was Set, the Trap Has Been Sprung. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, as we can see, the corporate media, those in the intelligence agency, the FBI, and the rest, they have been trying to play down this whole Spygate thing. And they're trying to say that, this is normal practice, this is what we do. But the main question is, why did they have an informant spying on the campaign before anyone even knew about the Russian hoax? I mean, think about that for a second. I mean, this is completely against the law. And there was no Russian hoax. There was nothing. It was just a candidate looking to become president, just like all the other candidates. So did they have an informant in every single one of the campaigns? Even in Clinton's campaign? I doubt it. Basically, what this tells us is that they were spying. Of course, it's all illegal. You just can't spy on an everyday citizen for no reason whatsoever, just because they're running to become president. And this is what this is all about, but they're trying to play it down. They're trying to make it seem like it's not that big of a deal, that this is just normal practice, and why is everyone getting all crazy about it? Well, yeah, when you plant someone to find out information, to pass information to other parties, and to try to pin some type of hoax on someone and make it seem like it's real, well, that's against the law. And again, these people believe they're above the law, and this is the main problem. We see that some U.S. websites, they've gone dark across Europe, and this suspension is due to the new privacy rules requiring transparency. The websites for the Los Angeles Times, New York Daily News, and others in the U.S. went dark across Europe on Friday as a new set of data privacy rules were imposed. The European Union's General Data Protection Regulation kicked in, prompting Trunk Inc., the publisher of those sites, to block readers from the EU as the websites made changes to comply. Now, Google, Twitter, Yelp, Uber, they have already sent notices to their users, and I'm sure everyone has been getting them, seeing them, and they've been telling everyone that these changes are in effect right now. The new rules require companies to give full disclosure to site users on what they do with digital information they collect and offer them more control. Under the new rules, European users are able to request copies of the data that websites have on them or ask companies to delete that information. Now, the question is, are they really going to delete that information? Because things on the internet are just not easily deleted. Websites have to ask for permission to collect and share user data, and companies need to disclose their data practices in clear language instead of obscuring them with legalese, which they always do, and you can see those terms of services. You can't even make heads or tail of it. Now, in the U.S., we don't have these rules. Maybe now the U.S. will start adopting them, because we can see that with Facebook, with Google, with what YouTube is doing, and with all the censoring and everything else, the heat is on them right now, and maybe this, and hopefully this will trickle down and make them change what they do and stop everything that they've been doing. This is the whole point of it, and this is why Q and many others have said that we need an Internet Bill of Rights, allowing everyone to have the freedom to speak freely on these public social media platforms. And I do believe this. I believe everyone has the right to go on there and say whatever they want to say. I mean, this is the Constitution. This is the Bill of Rights. The freedom to speak your mind. And just because another group doesn't like it, it doesn't mean that you can take them down. Just because they're talking about a different candidate or they're talking about things that they don't agree with. But once again, we can see this is their way of censoring people. And if you look back in time, they did this in other ways. People that wrote books where these individuals didn't want people to read certain books, what did they do with them? They burned them. And they took them out of circulation. They made the decision for everyone. The people, they're pretty smart. They can make the decision if they want to read something or not read something, believe something if they don't want to believe something. And the people will decide. You know how the people decide? Just like they decide what shows to watch. If they don't like a certain show, guess what happens? It goes off the air. If they don't like a certain radio program, it goes off the air. If someone doesn't like what they're hearing on YouTube or anything like that, they get very little views. Unless it's manipulated, of course. So we can see with North Korea right now, Trump laid out this whole entire plan. And it's not just Trump, it's the patriots behind this. And he sent the letter to Kim Jong-un, and he said he's canceling the summit. Now, Kim Jong-un says, no, I don't want you to cancel the summit. The summit should still proceed. And now they're saying on June 12th, maybe the summit will proceed. So it looks like this was the trap, because all along the corporate media was telling us that Kim Jong-un was figuring out a way to cancel this. And now it doesn't make any sense, because he's saying he doesn't want this to be canceled. He wants this to continue and move forward. And I do believe that the real summit, the real peace talks, that already taken place. This is for show. This is for the rest of the world. And this is why North Korea went along and released the hostages with no problems, went ahead and denuclearized with no problems, because this was part of their deal. And I believe right now Trump was trapping the corporate media, trapping the intelligence agencies that were trying to push their agenda, because they don't want peace in North Korea. And right now the White House, the team, they haven't canceled the travel plans to Singapore. They're still moving forward with this as of today. Now, maybe they will cancel it, but at this point, everything is still being prepared right now. They have not received any cancellation orders whatsoever. Now, what's very interesting is Anons have been researching this, and we're going back to Q now, and what they're saying is that Trump put up two messages, where he put up his letter to Kim Jong-un, and he spelt Jung, J-U-N-G, and then changed it to J-O-N-G. So it was a spelling mistake. And what someone pointed out was, well, this was actually brilliant, because Trump actually let out some information. Because in Korean, J-U-N-G in Korean means a friend that you deeply care about. Jong, J-O-N-G, in Korean means slave. So first he had the J-U-N-G, which means you are a friend, and then changed it to his other spelling, the spelling of his name, J-O-N-G. So that was a message that, yes, we are friends. Now, if we go back to Q's posts, like 1383, and other posts where he said, follow the pen, and he gave different pictures of the pen. One of the Anons mapped all of this out and took the pictures of the letter, took the pictures of where the pen was, the photos that Q releases, and put it all together, and basically shows how all these are connected. And the letter, which is shown in the picture that Q dropped, was already written in the past. So this was planned from the beginning. This was a trap to trap the corporate media, to trap the intelligence agencies, to trap the deep state into continually pushing their agenda, and then turn it around to say, where did you get this story? He never said these things. So what are you printing? What are you putting out there? These are lies. These are fake news. And I think we are going down this path, because you can see that right now Kim Jong-un is saying, no, we need to have the summit, and they're still preparing for June 12th, which is very interesting. And if you go back to post 1381, this was on May 16th, where Q said, follow the pen, already written. The letter on May 16th was already written. Letters left visible to match. And if you look at this, you can see from the pictures where the pen was, it says, you can read it like white, and then you see house, and it matches the letter that he had written to Kim Jong-un. If you look at the other letters where the pen are, where you see the T and the A and all the other things, they match up. And you can see right now, Q was telling you that this was already done. And again, if we go back to future proves past, the future just proved the past. And it's 100% Q-proof. So we can see right now that the trap was set, the trap was sprung, and basically it's backing the deep state into a corner. We see that Iran is giving Europe until next Friday to abide by their deal. And if they don't, there is no plan B. So what does that mean? Well, if we go back to Q and what Q has been saying, well, the money has kept Iran silent. It's kept many individuals silent. If the money dries up, will Iran start to talk? Will they start to deal? Because remember, the Iranian deal, the cargo plane full of cash, was slush fund money. And they had certain deals worked out with Iran where they were using uranium being brought into Syria. They were using these funds coming out of the Iranian deal to fund certain operations. And what's very interesting about all of this is Europe kept on saying that, we need the deal, we need the deal, we need the deal, and we need to keep it together. And they had to come up with money to pay Iran. They had to keep the deal going. And Iran was out there saying, yes, the political support is great, but we need the financial support. And this is where it kind of broke down. Now, maybe Europe will come up with the funds they need and keep funding Iran to keep them silent. But when it came to the money part of it, it seems like they couldn't stick it or stay together and fund this plan without the slush money from the U.S. And this is what's very interesting because Macron, we had Merkel visit the White House saying you can't get out of the deal. You have to stay in the deal. It's going to ruin everything. And if they're so concerned, why don't they just pay off Iran? What is the problem here? Now, maybe they will come to a consensus and they will do it and they will pay up. But do you really think it's going to last that long? Or do you think Europe is going to fold? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But I find it very interesting that it's taking this long for them to make a decision on what they're going to do. And we'll see what happens. And we can see right now, the deep state is stuck right now. They are really backed into a corner. I mean, think about what is happening here. Everything is hitting them from all over the place. And eventually, they're going to collapse, just like the economy. And we're going to find out that there's going to be a lot more information coming out very, very soon. And we can see that it's going to be harder and harder for the deep state. And what I think they'll end up doing as things start to close in around them, we're going to see additional events. Actually, Q has warned us of this, that they're getting ready to do something. Something's going to happen. And I believe as the walls close in, as they are, they will push another event. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.